Before we get started, if you haven't yet, please like this, give us a 5-star. It helps us get it out to more people. And if you enjoy this podcast, please ensure that you share it on your social medias and tag us in it. And we're back, season 2 of Common Unity. I'm Jason Fox, and we're looking forward to continuing bringing some great guests to you within this community. I hope you enjoy the show. Okay, welcome back to Common Unity. Today we've got someone that's pretty new to both of us. Chantel, I've met through my man Tim in Hamilton. So we've met through, well, he's a good friend of her, but I actually met you at Supercar Lunch Drives recently.
Yeah.
So, pulled up in a grey R8. I was like, right, this is someone I need to know. Something in common there. So let's find out about your story. Waikato girl, born and bred?
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I was born in Auckland. I was born in Auckland. I don't like to say it, but...
That's 2 guests in a row. What's going on here?
Born there, but did not live there very long. It was just, yeah. And then Waikato. Lived in Christchurch for a bit.
Oh, cool.
Why not very long? How long were you in primary school, high school?
Oh, you mean in Auckland?
Yeah.
Oh, like a year or something. Well, like first year. I don't remember living there.
Yeah.
I just remember living in the Waikato, pretty much in Te Awamutu.
Nice.
Which is cool.
Is that farming family or?
Yeah, my parents didn't own a farm. They just like managed.
Chair milking?
Yeah, and then we ended up on a dry stock farm when I was a teenager. So grew up riding a horse and docking sheep.
So what age did you what age were you when you learned to drive a manual?
Oh, like
10?
Yeah, like 12 or something. We had paddock mashers.
Yeah.
We literally had like $100 utes that we would drive to the shed and stuff. So
And now that's
do donuts. We had a paddock specially for us.
Yeah, nice. And is that the same ute that's now worth $5,000, you reckon?
Yeah, something like that. I said to her, "This literally looks like one of the cars that we got for $100, Mum." Like, yeah.
Barry Crump special.
Yeah. But she's like, "I'm going to fix the headlight. I'm going to get a new mirror. It'll be fine. $5,000." She's like, "These are worth a lot." I'm like, "Is that even 4-wheel drive?" Nah.
Classic.
And I was surprised it has a warrant right now. It does.
Oh, it's a beauty then. It's $6,000. Easy.
Surely you need a headlight and a mirror for your warrant.
I think that's happened since.
Oh, okay.
I think that's happened since.
You probably
obviously.
did it.
Paddock bashing.
Yeah, like Rich, my stepdad, turned up in it, and Mum's like, "What's wrong with the headlight?" He's like, "Someone backed into me."
So they're still on farms, I'm guessing.
Yeah, my mum's down in Taumaranui. She's just got like a 70-acre. I don't know, is it a lifestyle? A bit bigger than a lifestyle block.
Yeah,
just
quite a bit bigger, I'd say.
Yeah.
Lifestyle block's like normally like 3 or 5 acres. Still a reasonable size, but not 200-300 acres, eh?
Yeah, just doing some cows and I don't know, horses.
Yeah, cool.
Enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. And school, uni, any of that stuff?
Went to Taumaranui High School. So I actually had a pretty good education there. People always like, "Taumaranui, really?" I'm like, yeah. It was actually a pretty cool high school to go to.
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty down to earth.
Bring like pet day, bring your calf or something along, and
Nah, you get a bit old for that when you're at high school, I think.
you sure? It's Taumaranui. What else is there to do?
Go up the mountain.
Okay, go hunting.
In winter. Yeah, go up the mountain. That's pretty much what you're in Taumaranui for, I think.
How far is that from Te Awamutu?
Oh, an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. So you're boarding there?
No, my mum lives in Taumaranui.
Oh, yeah, Taumaranui.
And so that's where we were when we had Dry Stock Farm. Went to high school there. My dad was still in Te Awamutu.
Okay.
And I came back as soon as I finished high school. Well, I actually wrote off my Skyline.
You wrote off your scholar?
I wrote off.
You galloped away?
Wrote off, and I had a power pole and a parked car and a tree. And I had to go and pay off my debts, so I went and got a job at Mobile in Te Awamutu.
Okay.
Left high school.
Were you or were you not drifting?
I was not drifting. You could consider it. I was going way too fast around a corner, racing someone who wasn't racing me.
Yeah.
So
typical Skyline driver.
16-year-old brain, just like not thinking there's a corner coming up that you can't take at 130 k's. It's probably like a 50.
Probably board tyres and everything that we had back then.
It wasn't that bad.
And so you clipped a power pole, parked car, and a tree.
Yeah, and had to pay for the power pole parked car.
Did you have anyone in the car with you?
I did. I did, but the police still don't know that. And he ran off
They
because
fell
I was
out.
on my restricted.
Went through the windscreen.
Oh, good times.
Oh, what a
good
great way to
times.
start the podcast. So the car history runs deep. As soon as you said you grew up on a farm, I was like, you know how to drive a manual, and you learnt when you were like 10. So there you go.
Yeah, we drove
Turns
a
out I was 12, but that's
gravel road. I remember doing like 180s in Mum's Ford V8, just like on the gravel, fully turn
And
around and then
handbrakes.
drive back the other way, just
Yeah.
like learn how to do it. If Mum knew now, she'd be like, "Oh my God, were you doing that in my car?" Yes, I was.
She does now.
Yeah, she does now.
Oh, I wondered why there was all those stone chips down the side of it all the time.
Oh, it was pretty munted anyway. You probably wouldn't have noticed.
Got away with it then.
Yeah.
Classic, classic. So from Mobil, you started working there and paid off your debts, and then what
I
happened
did.
from there? I love a story that starts with a few failures. We're all about failing here on the podcast because that's how you grow.
Yep. So 2 years I spent at Mobil, and I loved it because I love cars,
Yeah.
and you got to talk cars to everyone.
Well, they all come in for gas at some point, don't they?
They do. Met a ton of people. Joined the H-Town Car Club because I bought a Sylvia.
Oh, yeah.
I was at Mobil and joined the H-Town Car Club when it was around years and years ago. And then I ended up getting like a reception job at Excelsior Nissan in Otorohanga,
Oh, yeah.
doing their reception
Yeah.
and like invoicing, picking and dropping off cars. So
Ah,
still in my good scene, I suppose.
that's where the administrative work's
Yeah.
begun, though, eh?
Yeah, that's where it started. And then I've been in admin and office accounts roles ever since.
Yeah. And at some point, you started your own business. Should we say what your business is?
Yeah, so I started Vantage, which used to be the Good PA. We rebranded in 2020 during COVID. We started that in 2015.
Sure.
And
Just yourself?
yeah, just myself. It was actually like my health issues that I think were like the catalyst for starting it. Because I'd always wanted to start a business, but I didn't know what. Because I'm like, I can't really bake. Like I can bake, but I'm not like baking some flash cakes or
Yeah.
sew, or like, you know how some people just start a business because they're good at something?
Yeah, some craft or something. Yeah. Engineer, go welding. Builder, go building.
Yeah.
It's easy. Yeah.
Crashing skylines wasn't a profession. So.
Nah, not
Oh, it
them.
is. Stunt drivers, they
Yeah.
need them.
Oh, there we go.
I think you've kind of got to be good at
Maybe
it.
not in the
though.
Waikato, but should we touch on the health issues? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah,
obviously a big part of your life. So tell us what's.
I'm open as. So when I was 24, so it was, when was it? 2012, my kidneys failed. And it's genetic, so I knew about it from about the age I was 15, but they never knew when it would happen.
Okay. So it's just a ticking time bomb
It's
waiting
just
to go.
tick, tick, and then it ticked too much, and yeah, they failed, and I went on to dialysis. So had a bit of a journey, spent like quite a bit of time in and out hospital. You were in hospital a couple times a year pretty much, just things going wrong. Like I actually look after myself very well on dialysis, but I always had access issues.
Yeah.
That's why I have all these scars on me.
Sure.
Just because you
So
have to
can't get to the vein, is it?
yeah, you have to get access somewhere. And I've got really little veins, so I'm a terrible patient for dialysis. And they would collapse all the time, and they'd have to put like a new one in.
Just for, I don't know what dialysis is.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me what that is?
Yeah, sure. So when you have no kidneys, because basically your kidneys clear toxins, they keep your red blood cell count regular. They make sure everything in your body is kind of like, they clear out all your urine, which is kind of, they do your toxins at the same time. They do quite a few other things as well. And so when you don't have working kidneys, you hook up to a machine and it does the job. So you hook up, so there's two different ways. You can do peritoneal dialysis or hemodialysis. Peritoneal I did for 2.5 years. It's like they put a tube in your tummy, fill you with fluid, like your tummy, like 2.5 litres of fluid, and then you drain the fluid off, and it literally moves fluid from your body and all the toxins and everything into your peritoneum, and then it comes out in the fluid, and you put more fluid in. You do the process like 4 times a day.
4 times a day.
Yeah, but it doesn't, it's like half an hour.
And then
It's painless pretty much. Like it's just,
But it's every day.
yeah.
and then you get a kidney transplant, or like how do you end up not, or do you still have to do that?
No. So I've
okay.
had a transplant. Don't have to do that. Just take pills morning and night now. But if you don't get a transplant, you do that until, if you don't get put on the transplant list, you do that until you die, essentially.
Holy.
So either or.
So you basically can't go out of town because you need to be near your hospital.
Yeah, you
get
can
in.
travel with peritoneal, not to, like, you can get supplies delivered to like a hotel somewhere or something, and you can take your little machine. It's not too much. I used to go to my mum's and stuff, and I could stay there quite easily. Hemodialysis is when you get like, they hook a vein to, well, they can do it many ways, but generally they hook a vein to an artery in your arm, so right deep down, they'll hook a vein up, and then it'll pump lots of blood through that vein. It'll become quite big. You put 2 needles in there. One needle is pushing blood in, one needle's taking blood out, and you run like 250 mils of blood per minute through a machine, which strips off all the fluid and all the toxins and everything, and then just puts the blood back in with nothing in it, back into your body.
That must have
Crazy.
been very, like, what did you learn throughout that process?
I learnt like how beautiful life is, how fragile it is. Like, you get this one little shot, and everyone, I think a lot of people, and it might be 95%, just live their day, like live their life right day to day. And I think sometimes they get to the end and they're like, shit, this is it. I didn't really think about it. Like, I didn't plan some stuff and do some of the stuff I wanted to do.
Regrets.
Regrets.
So it brought a lot of reality to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's just so easy to die. You don't realise, like, you get a cut, get an infection, you die.
Yeah.
People don't realise how easy it is. So it just taught me a whole lot about living my best life. So, and actually, interesting, I was thinking about it the other day. I think I was like, weird to say, but one of the happiest times have been when I was on dialysis, because rather than worrying about, like, I don't know, other stuff, buying a house and stuff, even though we did at the time, but all of those things, it was just like, oh, today I feel good, man, it is a good day. I was like, this is beautiful, I love it.
Yeah.
So I was actually so happy on dialysis. It's actually quite amazing when I look back. So you take away all the other stuff and it's like, I still had some really shitty days, but when you weren't having a shitty day, you were like, oh my God, this is like the best. I'm just going to have a cup of tea and sit on the deck and like love this.
Which is about like the classic old people saying, they're like, oh, every day above ground's a good one. I suppose, they know that they're at the end of their lifespan. They might have 1 year, they might have 10 years, but they know they're heading towards the end. And I suppose you get a little bit of that, cool, I woke up. We're here. What are we going to do today?
Yeah.
Make the most of every moment. Not so.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because because sometimes when that sort of stuff happens, some people, that you can go either way.
Yeah.
And then what do you think? Did you have, was it your parents or your partner was with you or whatever happened?
We had a
throughout
chat about this recently, like with my life business coach, Tracy Hancock.
Yep.
And she said, because she's had cancer before, kind of been on a similar journey, she said, it's either in people or it's not. And maybe something happens to wake it up.
Yeah.
Like, I do have great support. I think that's like huge help. I have friends and family. I've always had great support. But I think, like, what makes you go one way or the other? I don't really know. You just either choose to see the positive or you choose to become a victim.
Yeah. Nice. Yes. And so it served you well in the long run.
It did.
Yeah.
It actually did. Like, in all honesty, it was a blessing in disguise. You don't see it at the time, but my life might end up being shorter, but it'll be way more quality. So I'd rather have quality over quantity.
Awesome.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Slide into the grave sideways, crossed up, covered in scars, and know that you've had a hell of a ride, eh?
Yeah.
Rather just being presented in a nice box. So, oh, yeah, look how perfect this shell of a person is. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You got battle scars because you gave it a shot. Yeah.
Definitely.
And what I love about this, and I don't love that you've been ill or anything like that, but I know that you're doing pretty well with what's happening with your business, and so many of the people's stories that we have had on the podcast have got this unreal story like that where they've been through some tremendous hardship, but they've come out the other side and done something great with it. It's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, like, challenges, like you said, you can go one way or the other. They just help in the end if you choose to see it that way. Only make things better. I think I'm more driven. Like, I was driven to a point before, but I'm definitely more driven, more ambitious. I'm probably, because I'm quite organised and a bit of a planner, so I take a bit more, like, time to just randomly do things now. Like 2 and a bit years ago, I went for my first motorbike with my dad out to Raglan, and that was the last, like, I didn't realise at the time because he died a few months later from cancer, but it was like the last opportunity I would have got to go for a motorbike. And I remember thinking, oh, I need to work. Am I going to go? Am I going to go? And like, I'm glad I did, because it was the first like good group ride we had, and with him, and it was my last chance.
Yeah. So
Not that I knew that at the time, so.
you've got that to last your lifetime now. Yeah. That's beautiful.
I had a moment this weekend, just being my dad rang me up, and he just goes, oh, he lives inland from Tolaga Bay, and yeah, he was trying to cut a pipe. He was fixing some water pipe or something, and was trying to cut this bit off the edge of it with a Stanley knife, and just sliced through his whole forearm, and then ended up with a tourniquet on it. It rings me up. He's like, sliced through my whole forearm. I'm pretty sure I'm all good, but they're sending a chopper to come get me. And I was like, oh my God. And yeah, so
That's the cut you were talking about.
yeah, like
That's all it takes.
you know, things can happen. And when you're
Real quick, yeah.
because he's an hour and a half drive from like a hospital. And so yeah, they sent in a chopper. I called my sister. It was pretty out of it. My sister follows the flight radars. And within a minute, she's like, oh, yeah, I can see a rescue chopper's just left Gisborne. It's heading there at like 240 kilometres an hour. And I was like, oh, my God, sounds so good. She's in Christchurch. And yeah, next minute, Dad's picked up in a chopper. His back is all stitched up. He's fine. But things can happen real quick.
If his phone was flat or anything, that could have been the difference, right?
Could have been. Well, yeah, he's at his house. So hopefully.
Well, not everyone's got a landline. Maybe
Not
he
these
does.
days.
I don't have a landline, so if I,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's just glad he was there with his mates, and someone was there to put a tourniquet on it properly, and
Yeah, that's good.
you know,
Wow.
yeah, but yeah, things can happen.
And they do. And they do. So yeah, so you'd been through all of this, and I suppose with that you probably had difficulties working for someone, did you? Like, was that what led to
Yeah.
holding down a job when you got going in and out of hospital? Employers wouldn't be too stoked about that at times.
I was lucky I had a really good employer.
Yeah.
But yes, I actually said to her, so I was in hospital. I don't know how many, it might have been like a 3-week period or something. And I was like, you just need to go find someone else, where she would have just waited. But I was like, no, you just need to go find someone else to do this job. And I'm just going to do this. And that's kind of how it started. So it was like the catalyst, right? It was like I just had to make a decision. And that's what started it all.
Yeah.
And so you started out by yourself?
Yeah, started out by myself. Was by myself for about a year before I hired my first employee.
And what is your business? So people listening understand what you do.
Yeah, what do we do? So at Vantage, we are a virtual assistant firm, and we do bookkeeping, admin, graphic design, websites, a bit of small business consulting, and a little bit of social media and variety of things. So
But it started with bookkeeping essentially, and built from there.
yeah, bookkeeping and admin was kind of my jam.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff all kind of came in as we grew.
Who was your first client?
Oh, who was our first client?
Like when you first started out, like, because that's always the most daunting thing. It's like, how am I going to get the first person to pay me some money?
I think it was a loss adjuster. So I worked in Christchurch during the earthquakes.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the loss adjusters from overseas who I'd been working with, and I contacted them all and was like, hey, I'm doing my own thing. And they're like, oh, can you type some documents for us and tell? So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. And then from there it grew and grew.
Yeah,
So-
I just went and joined Venus Women's Network, the Chamber of Commerce and TA, and basically started getting business that way.
And how long was it until you employed your first staff member?
It was a year. So
pretty
I
quick.
had a look not long ago, but a year, yeah.
That would have been daunting. How did you know that it was the right time to bring someone on? Because the hard thing, because I see it all the time in business, is okay, I'm earning X, but if I bring someone on, it means I've got to cover their wages. And when's enough to go, okay, I'm earning enough, I can afford that person. When did you overcome that battle?
I
with
don't
yourself?
know that I did. I just was like, I don't love doing the work, so let's hire someone to do it and get me out there more, doing more networking and stuff. It's just kind of each time I've been like, well, we're just going to take the risk and see what happens with this. And if I figure out, I'm like, I always calculate what's the downside. Same when we got an office, it was like, okay, so this is going to cost me 20 grand for my first year. We're only tying in for a 1-year lease. It's 20 grand down the drain if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Not too much.
And that's how you got to look at staff too. Like people always think, okay, I need a year's worth of wages. I've got to pay them 70 grand. you've actually got a 3-month trial period. So as long as you got the 3 months and you can make it work within that 3 months, then they should be paying for themselves. You're away. So you don't need a whole year's worth of salary like people might be perceiving in their head. You've got that window.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, I just think that camera there is facing through your mic to your face. So if you just drop it, pull it down. Yeah, there we go. Cut that bit out.
You do some AI and fix that up, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make up the face behind
I'm
it.
often getting my face made up at work. Like Leah, our designer, she photoshops one of my other heads onto my head because I make an ugly face in a picture or something.
Oh, really?
She has done it and put on Facebook and then been like, this was the original, guys.
There's just this one photo you had done professionally, and it's that head on multiple bodies.
Yeah, I don't know. She does a good job because I never knew when she like posts something. I'm like, oh, cool. And then she's like, did you see Chantal? I'm like, no. She's like, I photoshopped your face, mate.
Lovely. You're fired.
I also saw a really fun. That first video I saw when I first looked at Vantage was the first thing I clicked on. Was the one where you spin around with a beard on. Pretend to be, what was the
Jason from Rocket Spark.
There we go. Yeah. Jason, I just saw the Rocket Spark on the shirt, clicked on it, spun around. I'm like, oh my God, if this is who we're interviewing today, this is going to be a good time.
Yeah, that was for the VA Awards. We got told to do a bit of a skit because it was Jason's last year of emceeing, and he's kind of our partner manager at Rocket Spark. So they said, can a whole lot of people do a skit of like us pretending to be applying for the MC role for the next year? Like we didn't have to be dressed as him. They just said, do whatever you want. And then I was like, let's just carry this on, Leah. Let's do an ad making out with Jason from Rocket Spark saying we're like their best partner. And then we're going to send that out to the world. So that's what we did.
Nice.
It's so good. Have you boosted that post? You'll get so much.
Yeah, well, it's been an ad. It's been an ad. Rocket Spark actually sent us just like some laugh faces the other day when I shared it as a story again.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a good time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so do you have like a team of people that work in an office now, or how's the setup?
Yeah, so we have an office in Te Amutu just off the main street, and there are 8 of us. Well, actually, I should exclude myself because I'm not really in the office anymore. 7 in the office, but 5 of them full-time in the office. The rest are work from home and the office, just because Leah lives in Potatadoo and Rebecca lives in Mangakino, so it's like a bit of a drive for them. It's easier to just work from home and work in the office. But we're pretty much there at least one day a week all together.
Yeah, bounce things off each other and stuff.
Yeah, have team meeting once a month and catch up and everything then.
Because it looks like a cool dynamic. What's the story behind the, like, you had a police hat on in one of them? There's a whole bunch of funny ones. As soon as I started going down, I was like, this is going to be a great
then a rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, no one else at work is willing to be the clown. And obviously when it's your business, you're like, okay, well, I better man up.
Yeah.
So the police video was we done a SPCA murder mystery and raised like $5,500. When was that? In July? I think it was in July.
Nice.
And so I pretended to be a detective. We're looking for the murderer and you've got to come and help us find the murderer. There was like 3 or 4 videos in the thing. And so it just fluked it. I was like, I need to dress up as a police officer, don't I, guys? And then someone's like, I'll just go get your hat from the $2 shop. And then I happened to be wearing jeans and I put suspenders on and stuff. I was like, actually, this works. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's cool that you can float those ideas and then execute in the office and everyone joins in.
Yeah, I usually we're winging it most of the time.
Yeah.
It's the best way.
So kind of like this.
Yeah, if you script it, it doesn't come out genuine.
No.
Like I actually love sitting down and having a podcast with people that I don't know because you just don't know where it's going to go. You sometimes hear people that have really researched someone and they'll ask the same questions that everyone's always asked because they're like, okay, that's the topic we'll ask about. Whereas when you just learn their story fluidly, a lot comes out that other people don't know. And I've had that with so many of my own friends. People listening to the podcast would have heard this, but not yourself. It's like I've known people for like 10 years and we sit down like, you were in the army? You know, like that's quite a big part of your life. How have you kept that so quiet? Oh, yeah. No, it's the best thing I ever did. You know? So there's so much in people that you don't know until you actually sit down in a situation like this and really try and drill down on.
Just have a chat.
Yeah.
And so it's a big jump between one employee to now 7 employees. What time span's that?
It's the last 8.5 years.
Yep.
So, and like when I first started, I made a goal. So I always wanted to have a team. I made it because my health had a lot to do with that. It was like, I can't be here to do client work all the time. I can't say I'm going to be here. I don't know what's going to happen. End up in hospital, can't do it. And so I was like, right, I'm going to have 12 staff. We're going to turn over $1 million. And I gave myself a 3-year goal. And now we're like 8.5 years down the track. And we're like pretty much at that point now. The staff doesn't matter as much to me anymore. And neither does the turnover. I'm all about the net profit.
Yeah.
Not so much the top line figures or how many staff. The less staff it takes to do that, the better.
Less personalities, less overheads, all that stuff.
Yeah. But I couldn't have done it in 3 years. I would have turned to custard. I just, I had to learn a whole lot of lessons along the way.
Run us through some of those lessons. What's one of the lessons?
Like the, I don't know, easiest, hardest thing was how to figure out how to find the right people.
Yeah, sure. Everyone struggles with that.
Yeah, and like what to look for and what to actually, because, you know, people turn up to an interview and for the first 3 months even, they can be great and then they go to custard. And so I really had to learn how to be a better leader, how to find the right people, what exactly we need to look for, the skill set, the personality traits for certain roles, to find the right people.
And fit the culture.
Yeah, and for the culture.
One person doesn't fit the culture, it sells the whole business.
It does.
And so do you have a system for doing that now, or do you go on intuition, or how do you figure that out?
Definitely more of a system. We've got better questions we asked at interviews that have helped us. We test people now. So we actually test them. We also do like police checks, credit checks, drug checks. We've had instances, and so you learn that actually we're going to do all this stuff at the start. And people if we're doing bookkeeping, we're dealing with money, and we've got some companies that turn over millions of dollars, and we're got access to their bank accounts and we're paying bills and stuff. So you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
So a whole lot about that and a whole lot about leadership. And then Darylyn and I will often sit in on the interviews together now because we both have a bit of a different way of looking at things, and it's quite helpful.
Yeah, bounce things off each other.
Yeah. And she purposely scares people now. She's like, I know Chantel makes it sound like it's lovely to work here, but just so you know, it's like an emotional roller coaster. Like you just think, it's admin. And I'm like, yeah, but one day you're like, you've got to do 5 people's invoicing and there's GST returns, and you're like, oh my God, it's deadline, you have to get this done. And then 2 days later you're like, it's lovely, stuff's done, we're just cruising along, it's just regular stuff to do, but it's not urgent.
Yeah.
And then the next day something else urgent's due, and so it is a emotional roller coaster. It's not just calm. It's not a cruisy office because you're not sitting at a reception desk looking after one client. You've got like anywhere from 6 to 16.
When it rains, it falls, right? Or pours. You got one customer might ring you, and then 10 others ring in the same hour, and it's all on. And then you don't hear from them for 2 weeks, and they're like, this has just come up, and it all comes on again.
Yeah.
It's the same with us with finance. We can be dead, and then the phone rings, and you get 10 deals in a day, and all of a sudden it's live, and then your customers also ring you because they can't afford to make the payments, and they're emotionally suicidal and stuff like that. Like, people just think I sit here and swivel around in a chair, and it's like, mate, I'd way rather just be a builder. I'd love to show up on a building site, stand up some frames, stand back at the end of the day and go, oh, look what I completed today. I go home going, what did I do? Man, that was stressful. Like, that looks the dream, putting up houses.
But that's that whole grass once
grass
you get in
greener.
there. Yeah, once you get in there, I bet there's a whole bunch of stuff about building.
Oh, there will be. There will be.
I bet they have some deadlines.
Yeah.
But at least they get a feeling of accomplishment at the end of it. That's what you lack.
Oh, they get to drive past it each if it's on their way to work or whatever.
Well, you can actually see what you've done.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually pretty hard to have worked for 20 years and still just see bits of paper or a computer in front of you. Like, yeah, cool, you earn some money. That's all nice and good and well. But I think especially for a male, I don't know if women feel that way so much, but when you actually look back at the end of the week and go, wow, I've done that. There's been times when I've helped out people and earthworks and stuff and driven rollers and stuff. We're in there for like 2 days, and like, there was a hill and now it's all flat, and you just go home feeling like you've conquered the world. Like, it's such a good feeling because you can actually see what you've done.
It's like mowing the lawns.
Oh yeah. Maybe that is what I need. Maybe I need a lifestyle block to satisfy that urge.
Yeah.
Maybe, Jason.
Dig a hole,
Next
plant
on
a
the
tree.
list.
Yeah, we're always looking. Yeah. Anyway, enough about me. But it is, you're right. It's an emotional roller coaster, and it's not, sitting in front of a computer all day isn't actually easy. Like, it's a lot of the time easier to work physically, is what people deem as hard work, than it is to be working mentally in high pressure stress situations.
I think if you've got like family stuff, because I'm always aware now, I'm far better at it, at being aware of like, hey, are the girls like, is one of them feeling okay, just a bit quieter than normal? And I'll check in with them, because the physical thing is, I feel like sometimes you could go and do some work without having to, do you know what I mean? You just almost like driving a car and you go somewhere and you're like, oh geez,
You can
how
go
did
to a
I
place
get
you're
here?
not really thinking. Yeah.
Whereas
Totally.
when you're doing like our work, there's no time, unless I'm having meetings and the girls don't do what I do. So then there's no time where you're like doing bookkeeping or graphic design or something where you can be like, I'm just, oh geez, how did I get here 2 hours later? Like it just doesn't happen. So it can have that mental toll. If you're not good in your personal life, then it's going to take a toll on the work stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you mentioned in there that you did, because one of the first lesson was hiring the right people. Then you said you did a lot of leadership stuff and just kind of jumped over it. What leadership stuff did you do?
More from like me learning what I need to be doing. So I would say, especially before dialysis, I'm quite a hard person. I was growing up like a harden up. And so my empathy hasn't been very high. It was lower. And so I almost have to be in a situation myself to be like, oh, this is what this would feel like for that person. I need to be nicer. Like, don't be, I'm quite blunt, I'm quite brutal. The girls actually at work said to me, Chantal, who told you weren't empathetic? You're like, great. I'm like, I think I've just gotten better over time. I'm trying to be way more self-aware about it. Like if something happens and I'm like, I haven't been in this situation before, just think about it, Chantal, like what would that feel like? What toll is that going to take? Rather than just being like, oh, I don't know, just like, I don't know, forget about it and do your work.
Yeah.
Because that's what I probably was like at the start. And so, yeah.
So you just thought about it in your mind. Did you listen to some podcasts? Did you do some formal training?
You mentioned you had a coach earlier before the dialysis, right? So you had a coach at some point?
Yep. So Tracy Hancock used to do with regular coaching with me for a bit, and then now I still use her if I need to make a decision. So some life and business coaching. I'm definitely big on like growth on yourself, working on yourself. Podcasts, books, and then few different, like I've been to heaps of conferences and events, and they've always had leadership parts to them and stuff, and gone to those. Haven't done any actual like leadership certificate or training or anything like that. Just trying to be self-aware and working on things.
Real world experience is going to be better than that piece of paper anyway. So you've been living it for the last 8 years. Yeah. Slowly getting better. I think it's just a continuous journey, right? Continuous. Never ends. Yeah. And being right in yourself, whatever that means for you, whether you need to go for walks, have time out, making sure you're right when you show up for your business and then your staff is going to help you be there for them.
Oh, so much. Like, yeah, I've just learnt that. And so it's the same for them, obviously. If they're not right, then the work's not going to be right, and you really need to work. Work's important, but their personal lives need to be more important. Their family, their friends, and people. So I didn't get into business just to make a ton of money. Like obviously money is a byproduct of doing business. You need to make money to continue to have a successful business.
It's just a scoreboard.
But the people are more important. I think that's when, if I meet people in business doing really well and they're all about the money and not the people, I struggle to get along with them because our values just don't align.
Yeah, because every day you turn the lights on in that place, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding 7, 8 other families. You're a big contributor. You're feeding their children, everything when you turn those lights on. So if those people aren't showing up right.
Yeah, and that starts like if I come to work and my energy's good, I'm happy, and I'm optimistic, and I'm above the line. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard about the all bed, being above the
or
line or below the line.
Yep.
Being
Latest
above the
tonight.
line.
Yeah.
We've got it sitting up in our accountants actually have it in their office, and so I was like, we're copying that, we're putting it in our office. And every now and again you go below the line and I'm like, Chantal, you'll hear me talk to myself in the office. I'm like, well, that was below the line. Chantal, step up, mate. What are you doing?
Yeah, and how good are visual cues to remind you of that?
Very
Because
good.
otherwise you just fall back into habits. But if it's there, like, I've got there, follow one course until successful on the board, focus. I used to have do more, and I was taking on everything, and I was like, oh man, I'm so anxious, got so much going on. I was like, hang on, I got the wrong message up here. So let's just work on one of these and get it real good.
I would agree, Jason. I think that's a good message. Better than do more, yeah. You're going to be like chaotic.
Yeah, I was like, do more of what? I'm not even specific on this. Just do more of everything. And that's pretty much what I was doing. That's how you lead to burnout.
Yeah.
Not the fun kind either.
No.
No, yeah. So anyway, I'm focusing at the moment.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Quantum's key focus. But yeah.
That's good. Yeah. And then so you worked on yourself. You worked with Tracy. How do you then transfer what you've learned onto your staff and try to get them to follow along?
So big thing for me is helping them to be leaders themselves. I'm definitely not a micromanager. I'm too far the other way. I'm like, here's some general rules. I'm the worst at training too.
Yeah.
I don't do the training at work anymore. So we're winning.
You're winning too.
Yeah.
Because you're actually one of the few that's pulled themselves out of the business.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't micromanage. So I leave them to do their thing and say, please ask questions if you have them. But it's just helping them to grow into their own leaders and in different ways, because everyone's on a different path. Like some of the team at work are in their older years and they literally just want to come to work, do their job, chill, enjoy it, have a nice place to work, and then go home. Like that's their thing. And then Darylyn, who became our general manager, so she actually we're just sending her to some courses and stuff at the moment. She just went to I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was on Friday, how to like look after people in the workplace with their mental health and everything and things to notice and that. And she said that was really good. It was like a 4-hour workshop, I think, in Hamilton. So
Excellent.
just helping her to
Upskill
grow.
and
Yeah, because she's amazing. So she's come on as our general manager, and I knew she's better than me at being in the office. And actually, she's more empathetic, so she picks up on people being off better than I do. And she's like way more efficient because she doesn't get, like, I'm an ideas person. I'm strategy, ideas. I get distracted very easily. She does not. She's there. She's like, I'm smashing this out. I've got the stuff to do, and it's done. And so we're just way more efficient right now.
It's kind of how long has she been on for?
Since August.
Oh,
Oh,
fresh.
it's only a couple of months.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
So she's made the 3-month trial just.
Yeah.
And we're
I
still
think she
speaking
said
highly of her.
that.
She's good.
I think she said that. She was like, 3 months, I'm starting to feel a bit better now. She's done some of my jobs. Because she's still 50% billable. Because I was, before I handed over that role, was 50% billable. So now she is. Now I might do a few hours a month of billable work, I think now.
But you're focusing on the BDM role, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Out there finding people like us, because we've just brought Vantage on with Action Curve. So it's our first month working together. Seeing the invoice come through, and I'm sure Robin's paying that, but I haven't worked with you myself. But he's happy. He's real happy with what he's got so far and getting things organised. And as business owners for us, it's not about your cost, it's about buying back our time so we can do what we're actually supposed to be doing, which is the same as what you're doing, being face to face with our customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that other stuff can be done by your team.
Yeah. And they're way better at it than I am. Like, I'm just not. I just don't want to do that work anymore, so I'm no good at it. Like, I managed to do it for so long to get to this point.
Yeah.
But they're just way better. Their skills are better. We all have I think that's the magic sauce, right? Figure out what you're good at.
Yeah.
And figure out what you actually enjoy doing and do it.
Mm.
So I love talking to people. I love meeting. I love ideas. So let's do that.
Yeah, and that's the actual business owner's mindset versus the self-employed mindset. So many self-employed people are like, oh, no one can do it better than me. I've got to do it myself. Oh, every time I hire someone, they stuff it up and I end up having to fix it. Whereas you're like, go girls,
Yeah.
I'm off.
Yeah.
Got to go some groceries.
Yeah, I'm just I've got to admit I've had a bit of a relaxing time in August. It was pretty chill, and then in October I was very busy in September because I was covering for some staff at work, so I had to go back to doing the work.
Yeah.
But I now need to knuckle down for November and December before we finish for the end of the year. I'm like, okay, Sinead, I've had enough of a holiday. Like, get refocus and get started.
So do you see yourself like bringing quite a few more girls on or guys? Like you're staffing up still? You're at a good level now? Where do you see yourself going?
We'll probably get a few more staff like next year. There'll probably be a few more. We probably can't fit any more than 12 in our office. And like you could do the whole hot desk thing. But I think just like a nice number for us is somewhere between 10 and 12 to just like be doing good work, be big enough for that to be like a happy place and us to not have to move offices.
Yeah. Less than 3% of businesses in New Zealand employ more than 20 staff. You can be the top 3% almost. You're heading there.
Oh, I will be, but it'll be with other businesses.
Yeah,
it won't be with Vantage.
Okay.
Well, it could be. I can't say it won't be. I'll just say I don't intend that right now, but you never know because I'm really bad at saying no. I say, yeah, we'll do that. And then I go back to the office and I go, okay, girls, we've got another client. And they're like, who's doing that work? And I'm like, you wait, we're going to figure this out. Somehow I managed to figure it out.
Yeah, sure.
And how are you acquiring these clients?
Networking, like
you said at the start.
social media, marketing. I just connect with people like Supercar Lunch Club group, and then you just meet people out and about doing various hobbies. I do a lot of hobbies, so that probably helps.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's what I love about the car community too. It's not so much the car itself, it's the people you sit down with and the conversations like this conversation we're having here has come from the car community. And as you know, in that room, the people that were there all have big businesses. They're great people to bounce ideas off. They're all real friendly. If you got a question, you can call them. Like your network's your net worth. That's
on.
Yeah. So you've got a supercar here.
I do.
If you're going to a supercar lunch drive, there must be a car there.
I do. I do. I have my Audi R8, my Gen 1.
Nardo Grey.
Yeah, Nardo Grey.
How good?
Very good. It was like my dream car. And actually, my son laughs at me because he's like, Mum, your Mazda CX-5 that we've got, it's a Vantage car. It's all branded up. He's like, this used to be your dream car. And now you drive it and you're like, oh, it's so slow. I'm like, yes. You just, I guess, level up, right?
Yeah, your dreams move.
Yeah, they do.
The time and a place. It'd be pretty boring, if you had this dream that you achieved by 25 or 30 or something. Like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
You just wait in the corner. A few moons go past. Okay, oh, what now?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's a never-ending goalpost, always moving goalpost.
Always moving. And like you are your own ceiling, right? So at the moment I'm down here and my ceiling is up here. So I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Need to build a big ladder, set of stairs to get up there.
Yeah, just one stair at a time, right? One stair at a time.
1%.
And then one day you realise you're there.
Yeah, it happens way quicker than you think too at times.
I reckon if you can enjoy the process and you don't even need to get there, you just keep going, keep taking steps, enjoy the steps.
Yeah.
And whatever happens along the journey.
Yeah.
Big fan of that one.
Do you have, you mentioned other businesses, you got something in mind or what? I know we touched on this a little bit. I don't know how far you want to dive into what your thoughts are.
We've got some plans at the moment actually with Vantage.
Yep.
So we have some things going on there and that's going to be pretty exciting next year.
Okay.
Could be like new to the market, never been done before, potentially in the world, but definitely in New Zealand.
Jeez, I'm on the edge of my seat now. Almost falling off.
I can't say anything else, but it's not amazing. It's not like it's never been done, but never been done in our industry.
Sure.
So we will see what happens there. And then also looking at some other businesses to buy. So I have one at the moment that's an e-commerce food business. Well, not food actually, it's like health products. So I would like to buy that, but I need to do a bit more due diligence and sort out some stuff with my ex. So I can go forward.
Yeah, because what we were talking about the other day, you're actually quite a unique position that if you buy businesses, you've already got the team behind you to
run
do the
them.
administration, right?
Do.
So you can be the thinker and the ideas person at the top of the helm, which is a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I'm very lucky with Vantage. It
Deploy.
was definitely, I think my intention when I first started as well was to grow it to a certain size and sell it. And now I'm like, oh, no, I don't have any plans to sell it right now, because it's a great business to run other businesses from. We do it for everyone else. Why does it not do it for whatever else I end up doing? So that's the plan at the moment. They'll just become clients.
yeah.
So what's the big difference between, because I saw you won a bunch of awards on your Instagram and stuff as well, which is really cool. What's the difference between what you do and other VA companies?
So, like there's only so many agencies in our size. There's 4 or 5 of us maybe in New Zealand at the moment. There's some others that are coming up as well. The main thing that we do differently is we only have New Zealand employees. So most VA firms will either run employees or subcontractors, and most of them do subcontractors. They might have a few employees, but they'll be heavily subcontractors. And then nearly all of them are hiring overseas as well now.
Yeah. Philippines.
Yeah, Philippines, India, variety of places, which I don't have a problem with. Like, do you want to do that? Go for it. Lots of accounting firms do it these days too. It just doesn't fit with my values for why I started my business, which was to give locals jobs and to support the local community. I'm all about, as we grow, supporting further and further, but we're just not there yet. Like, let's just support what we're doing in our Waikato region, and still even further than that sometimes, because we have clients all over New Zealand. But yeah, that's my big thing. So I've had people ring and be like, you can pay us $10 an hour. And I'm just like, I just want to be different. Like, you want to deal with Kiwis? And we have some South Africans, but they work for us here in New Zealand. So I'm like, you want to deal with Kiwis and you want to chat to us and you want to be able to visit us if you want to, come and talk to us. We're all here. We're all employees. We're all on the same train going towards the same thing.
I think you nailed it there. Come and talk to us. I've had a few people that have tried VAs offshore, and the language barrier just slows them down. And it comes back to, again, I might as well just do this myself, because there's always that's not quite what I asked for. Can you redo? It's not the same as just dealing with someone who's the town over or in the same town, or even you drop into the office and just go, hey, this is what I'm picturing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I leave it with you? Cool. All right. See you in a couple of months. Or there is something very beautiful about dealing with someone within your own country.
So, and there's a market for everything, right? There's a market for people who want VAs overseas because they want to pay way less money. That's cool. Like, that's just not our market. You want to pay $10, $15, $20 an hour, you're just not our target market, because there's a market for what we do as well. We do a really good job. So our awards prove that. Like,
Nice.
So
One real cool thing that I heard before when we were talking before the podcast was that you assign a person to the business. It's not like, because the way I assumed something like that would work is there's someone that deals with the clients and then there's other people that do the work, but you structure it slightly differently, it sounds.
yeah, so the people who do the work are essentially your client manager. So a VA, bookkeeper, graphic designer, depending on what you come to us for, what skill set you need, will become your client manager. And that's kind of your go-to person. And because we all work full-time, so they're available Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, as you need them. And if they're away, then there's someone else who's learned how to do that job and will cover for that time period. And if there's an overflow, then we all kind of get in together to help out.
How do you apportion their time? Because obviously, like we said before, if 10 people call you at once and they've all got something to do, is it like an urgency? You're like, okay, that one can wait. This one's a little bit more urgent. We'll do this for this client. We'll jump onto that one next. Or
we've just been lucky, I suppose. We haven't had like so much of an influx. I suppose I'm here, Daryl Lynn's here. Both of us are, like, Daryl Lynn's 50% billable. But her work's very flexible because it was the work I was doing before. So those clients are very flexible.
yeah,
So we could both step in if we needed to and help out if some urgent project come in. We have some people who used to be employed by us, who work a few days a week now for like other businesses and could always come in. But otherwise, we've just been pretty lucky. We manage it internally. Like if enough urgent stuff, you'll go off your non-urgent stuff and help someone out.
Do you feel like you're running your team, say, all at 80% or 50% capacity rather than 120%, so they're at burnout all the time? Like, do you go, all right, that's about 80% of the workload that person can handle, it's time to bring the next one on? Do you sort of look at it that way?
Yeah, you get to an idea because you start talking to the girls. We like them to be, so at one point they were really, really busy. We like them to be not busy enough so that they can add some value for free to clients. So if you're doing bookkeeping, go and check out the client's profit and loss. And maybe that's not a job that we get paid to do, but go and check out the client's profit and loss, their balance sheet. Just have a look, like how are they doing? Because if clients, like our job might just be paid to do GST returns and invoicing, and they've never thought about getting us to look at the numbers. But if their accountant's not doing it and updating them regularly, we can sometimes find that actually this client's not doing that great. If we tell them this now and we help them fix the problem, we could get more work out of them and they'll be a client for a lot longer. Whereas if we don't and 6 months later they're in the shit, wow, they're not going to keep paying us, are they?
Yeah, 100%.
So,
That's so cool.
I'm always like value add. I'm like, how can we actually not just do your books, but how can we actually be like, hey, how can we help you? Like, and so when I go out and have meetings with clients, I always come back with more work. Like clients are like, oh, I didn't know you did that. Cool, okay.
Yeah.
We end up getting more stuff.
A little bit of surprise and delight, under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Where'd you learn to think on such a long timeline? Because some people just don't look past the fact that there's this job that I've been paid to do. Boom, get it out, and now I've got free time. And then we've got the bigger vision of like, hang on, but if they're not doing so good, they're not going to pay me in 6 months' time, and I don't want that to happen. And if I can help them, what you just said, does it come from your parents? Was it a friend growing up, a brother or sister?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I just figured out I just have a knack for business. Like I just like everything, like hiring people, having a team, like relationship building, money. I love dealing with cash flow. Cash flow is like my jam. Managing cash flow. We wouldn't be here if I didn't manage cash flow really well. Like that's the truth. Yeah. And all of it, marketing, just everything. Everything about business I love. It is my thing that I'm meant to be doing forever.
All of that stuff you just rattled off is what most people don't understand a business is. Like, hey, I'm really good at building, or yeah, I can do some bookkeeping. So yeah, you can do some bookkeeping, but now you are a marketer and an employer, HR consultant, you are all those things. So you've just nailed off everything that's the perfect business owner. You actually enjoy it. So you are enjoying the process.
Yeah. It's just
it's your jam.
It's my jam, and I was lucky to figure it out, right? Because we don't all figure out what we want to do in life. And I've kind of just fallen into this. My dad did have a business, so he owned a security firm in Te Awamutu for like 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I did watch him, and what that taught me was don't own a 24/7 business. So I will not be buying a 24/7 business because
call outs. When
your staff are sick, when you are it, and I'm like, no, I am not. We work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So if something goes down and it's after 5, I'll be like, okay, I can worry about that at 9 tomorrow morning. Like unless it's a payroll or something and it's urgent enough, which is rare. Don't own 24/7 businesses. That's what I learned. Like unless I guess high risk, high reward, but it didn't seem like that great a reward for the risk. So.
And that's what's kept me out of transport. Sorry, transport operators that do listen to this podcast. Is yeah, cool. If I've got 5 trucks and 2 guys call in sick, I've got to jump on one of them. One's parked up anyway. Now I'm upsetting that customer. Like, you actually almost need to have that extra person on. You get 5 or 7 trucks. You need 8 drivers for someone just to cover all the sick days and holidays that people take throughout the year. Because everyone gets 4 weeks. They get their 20 sick days. They get a whole lot of time off. You're always trying to replace that person on that specific contract. So yeah, the beauty of, okay, lines in the sand, and I'm getting better at that too, because people call me sometimes at 1 o'clock in the morning because they are truck drivers, and they're like, oh, this has happened, I'm just buying an engine, Jason needs to fix it for me, need some money. And it's like, I put my phone on silent, but they're there, and it's sometimes it's how do you leave that at the door? So you've obviously got yourself quite good at going, no, it's 5 o'clock, we're done, that'll be there in the morning, and you leave work at the office, and when you get home, it's home time. You switch modes, do you?
Yeah, I've always been I'm better than the girls at work. Honestly, I don't know how I got, very blessed to have such a good team, because I'm telling them, like, go and have your lunch, leave work. Why are you still here? Because they're very dedicated. But I'm like, you guys, come on, we got to turn to switch off. I'm the best at switching off. And normally it's not, Normally, like, the owner is like, oh, starting to go crazy because they can't switch off. I'm like, sweet, 5 o'clock, no clients. Like, clients could always ring me if they need me. It's rare though.
Yeah.
But we just haven't had too much to worry about there. And so then I go home and...
I think what a lot of people do is they're always desperate for that next dollar, or how I'm going to pay this next bill. So especially when you start in business, you want every dollar to come in. So I'll answer every phone call or do all this. I mean, a lot of people are trained that when that phone rings, it could be a $10,000 sale. You must answer it. But as you get, yourself more set up, you go, yeah, if it's that important, they'll be there when I ring them back.
Yeah, they will be.
If our relationship's what it should be, they'll still be there. You can't just hang on to every single customer and stress yourself out, because a lot of the time you might take that call and they're like, what? You're in the middle of something. Oh, it doesn't matter. It can wait.
Yeah.
Why are you calling?
Got to not answer the phone.
Yeah, so it's training yourself to train your clients, because if you are the person that answers the phone every time at 8 o'clock, they're like, they always answer my calls at 8 o'clock. That's great. And then they just take advantage of it.
Yeah, they just keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's like me with emails. If you want me, call me. Don't email me. And then people, like lots of my clients have just kind of learned that, and they just call me, which is lovely. You get a phone call or I get a text saying, hey man, I just sent you an email. It's pretty good.
Oh, funny.
And then that's just how it is now. I learned it from my brother. He never answers his phone, and now it's just no one even tries to call him that much, because like he doesn't have an important role in a thing that he has to do. But he set the standard from a young age that I will not answer my phone, and sometimes not even reply to a text for 2 days. And then so now
You just know what he's like. Yeah.
if he just disappears, he gets to do it whenever. No one ever worries about him, and I'm like, you got to set it up from the start. That is on.
Yeah, you definitely. I think you create your own boundaries which you live in, and you set that with all the other people within your life.
And it's hard when you really care, because you're like, no, I really want to do a good job. And you don't realise you're shooting yourself in the foot in the long run.
Definitely something I've struggled with.
Yeah.
I always want to do that good job and just jump and get it done, and I don't relax until things are done. So if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I've got so much to do, and I might come in here at like 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning and smash through it, and then by 10 o'clock I'm like, I've done it all. But it'll be like 4 focused hours. I'm like, what now? Really, that could have waited till 8 or 9, But it's me. I can't relax. Okay, I got to get that done, and then I can relax. But yeah, I've worked on that a lot. I'm way more chill now. Not as chill as you though.
It takes time.
That's
but
a
then
superpower.
I don't have much urgent work now. It's all just important.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to next year when I've got a team of Tims, and they're
a team of Tims.
Yeah, I mean they broke the mold when they made Tims, so there won't be more Tims. But
No.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're going to have a team of Tim staying at your house?
No, there's only one spare room, but it's
funny.
It will be nice to pass on some of that stuff, because I'm a bit like you. Am I super passionate about writing loans? No, but what do I do enjoy is the people, the business, the conversations that come around it. So that's the fun part. The cash flow, where do we go next? What's the next direction? How do we adjust this to make it, like you said, can we tweak it so we're not making as many mistakes, so the bottom line's a little bit healthier, and all the little things that come with it. That's the fun.
It is the fun. Unless you're someone who likes the other stuff, right? We've got to have a bit of everyone to make everything go round.
So what other things do you like to do other than fat around in your R8?
Which I realised I'd done 18,000 Ks in the last 14 months.
I've done 7,000 of mine in 2 months.
Ooh, okay, you are beating me, Jason.
I might catch you.
You might. Jeez. You did do the whole big cruise though.
Yeah, and shooting over to Hamilton a bit lately. Once we've figured out what we're doing with property, that I'll get another car, but there's always something on the go.
Yeah, but you're never going to want to drive it, I tell you, because I go over the car. I was coming here and I was like, should I bring the 6.5? And I'm like, well, that'd be boring in the Kaimais, wouldn't it? So, no.
Yeah, but I think when you're driving it too much too, then it just becomes your car. Like it's like it loses its allure.
It hasn't done that for me yet. So, no, I'm always like, woo, hop in and yeah, it's cool.
I can imagine. It's great attitude.
What else do? I have a motorbike. I
Yeah.
have a little Yamaha R3, which I haven't been riding too much. I did go for a ride maybe 4 weeks ago, but I haven't been riding as much. I'm still on my learners, so I need to go get more restricted. I do pole dancing. I'm only level 2, so hopefully level 3 next year. So I don't know. It takes like years, guys. Pole is hard.
Why do you need levels? What does it mean?
Yeah, what is
Well, level 1's like beginner. Level 2, which I'm in now, is like, the next. And level 6 are like pros.
Okay, so
Level 5, level 6, you're pro.
So level 6 is when
What
you're
kind of
like
maneuvers?
face down, sliding towards the ground. You stop an inch off it while you're spinning.
Oh, yeah, like the crazy stuff. Like, because I can hang upside down and stuff, but once you start, like level 3, you're starting to put all the moves together and look really pretty. And then level 4, you're getting pretty damn good. Level 5, level 6, you're like pro. And sometimes overseas, I think they have higher levels and stuff.
Wow.
So that, fitness, gym, go to the gym a few days a week. Love exercising, staying fit and healthy. That was another big thing from having a transplant, obviously, being on dialysis. It's just like you just get this one body, look after it, love it. And someone died and then their family chose to give me, not me specifically, but give their organs away. So I feel like I owe it to that family to like live this person's life fully. So I will. And then what else do I do? Cars, motorbikes, pole, gym. I've just got, the last couple of years got into hunting. So my dad was motorbike, so we didn't grow up with the All Blacks on TV. We grew up with fishing, hunting, motorbikes, cars, like F1 on the telly. And my dad always had motorbikes, always went hunting and everything. So me and my brother have gone out duck shooting the last 2 seasons, and then I got my first 2 goats in April.
There you go.
Just throws that in there. It's got a couple of goats. Yeah.
So that was
The
cool.
greatest of all
Did you eat
time.
them?
Nah, because first off, my brother cut the guts in one, and so then it's wrecked.
Right.
So we fed them to the dogs for that.
Oh, nice.
But would do.
Yeah,
Would do.
yeah.
So need to do a bit more of that and get my gun license. And then I'm always down for an adventure, man. I'm like, what else can I do? Went skydiving twice in the last couple of years. I really want to get back up the mountain, go snowboarding again, because I worked up there for a season during high school.
Yeah, nice. So
I'd like to go wakeboarding. Haven't done that.
I've never done it.
Nah, only been like kneeboarding and biscuiting and stuff, but not
Wakeboarding's good.
wakeboarding.
Yeah. Wake surfing's probably better. Well, they're different, but the beauty of wake surfing is it doesn't need to be glass. Like wakeboarding, you got to be up at 6 a.m. before there's wind, because as soon as it chops up, it's pretty punishing.
Oh, yeah.
But you can but if you've got a boat that can do both, you do the wakeboarding, wind picks up, you fill it up with more water, and then you start surfing for the rest of the day. They both go. This one's a skier, so he likes
yeah.
going real fast.
I love it. We got a ski boat. Like my mate that I do it with, who lives on the lake. I just left my boat at his place, and every Wednesday morning, even all through winter, we'd just wacky Wednesdays. We'd wake up at sunrise. I'm like banging on his window, and he'd already be ready. Like in his undies, like woo! And it's me and him get on the boat for sunrise water ski on Wednesday mornings, just to ramp up the week.
Love it.
Yeah. It's really good. Sometimes on the way in, we'd have a water ski and just cruise it, just idle the whole way, just drinking a beer, having a yarn. It's like sun's just coming out. Like, man, this is so good. I really don't mind what happens for the rest of the week from here. This is so good. And it's Wednesday. It breaks the week up.
It's just something so calming about being on lakes. Oceans a little bit, but I think lakes,
Yeah.
quite grounding.
The fresh water
Yeah.
and just like the cold, fresh water, and you kind of don't want to be there, but it's so character building. You feel so good. Like driving home from Rotorua after doing that, you're like, man, I never saw another boat on the lake the whole time. You know, it was just me and him every single time, wherever we want to go. And sometimes you just literally beam up the whole lake because the whole thing's glass. You couldn't even see it. You could see the leaves on the absolute glass, and then it just a perfect reflection of the sky, and it starts to like mess you up with where you're going to turn, and no one else is enjoying this. And you just kind of park up and look around, and it's just great feeling.
That's cool.
Selling us on a day.
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to get us all on board.
Well, you can.
Yeah, Nick will take you.
Yeah. yeah.
He's always looking for crew for
Yeah.
missions.
That's cool.
Yeah. And there's a hot river on Lake Rotowedi as well. So then afterwards, if you want to, you can just go and line a hot river.
Oh, sweet.
So you can be cold and then, warm
Right.
up at the end,
Yeah.
cruise in. It's really good.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We used to wakeboard 3 or 4 times a week, so I did a lot of it. Never got that good at it. I'd jump the wake and do a couple of grabs and stuff, but
I feel like
Wasn't
that's
doing 180s.
good at it, isn't it? I don't know. Like I'm thinking just being able to stand up, like that's my first goal.
you'd be able to do it, I'd say, on the first day. Like, not many people don't get up on the first day,
Oh yeah.
but like you'll get up and sit outside the boat and just be like, "Whoa, I'm up, I'm up, I'm up," screaming, and there'll be excitement, and everyone will be like, "Yeah!" And then after that, it's like, "Oh, try and cross the wake," and then as you start going across the wake, and then you catch the front of your board and you knock yourself out or get a blood nose or something.
Sounds great.
Character
Yeah.
building, the real stuff starts.
Building. Hardest part's getting up, I reckon. Like, 'cause so many people battle like in wakeboarding, because the wakeboarding is actually really tough to get up a lot of the distance. Well,
I reckon
From-
most people get up within 6 tries.
I
I would have thought.
I was dating a Swedish girl at one point who got up on her like 22nd try. I was giving her
Oh,
kudos
wow.
for keep going. I was like, you can give up now after like 15. First like ages. Well, she was never going to give up. And she's like, nah, no way. And I was like, I just don't think you're going to have the hand strength to keep going. And then so we gave it a bit of a break. And then, like it was literally like the 22nd time. And she got up and
Woo!
my gosh, the feeling, and like she was on a vibe for that whole day. Like, oh my God.
You can see some
So-
people with the battle is that it's cold, right? Like often the lake's cold, so they're cold. They get a little bit
Yeah.
tired. They've tried 6 or 7 times. Like, oh, try again later, but they get out and then they shiver in the
Oh
boat.
yeah, you
and
can't
they
get
don't-
out.
they
You
don't
got to
wanna
keep
get-
going.
They don't want to
Yeah.
get back in, and it's like, oh. But
It is
nah,
possible.
most people get up. I think pretty. It's all about the squat. You're just holding the squat. Knees there. dig your heels in, and you pop up.
Yeah.
As soon as the boat goes, you start to stand.
Yeah.
Move the hips in your way.
Well, we'll see if that works when I give it a go.
Yeah, I don't have a boat at the moment, so I can't help you out. Sorry, but if anyone's got a boat that would like to take us all wakeboarding,
That would be beautiful.
369 015. Looking forward to it. Thanks, team.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've covered off quite a lot. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about you or how to find you and things like that?
Well, you can look at the vantage.co.nz website.
Good place
And
to start.
you will find us. My number's on there. Feel free to flick me an email if you want to have a chat. Always love to talk to people new to business too, who have like some goal. We do a bit of business consulting. Always make the first session free. Have a chat to people and just be like, what are you up to?
Yeah.
I love people who are just like, often, it's scary, right? When you're going to start a business. And I've had a few people be like, how do you just like take the leap? And I'll talk to them and be like, you can do it. Like, although if I don't think their idea is great, normally it's not their idea, right? It's maybe they haven't done enough research. Like there was a lady who opened a lolly shop in Te Awamutu. And I was like, that's just not going to
Decent,
work.
yeah.
There's just not enough people.
Yeah.
It didn't. It went under in 6 months. So if someone came to me with an idea, I'd be like do some research. I'm not going to like ruin their dreams. But I think,
I think the hard conversation's important though, because
Yeah.
they lose a lot more if they pursue it and no one else had the balls to say, have you really thought about this?
yeah, because I don't want to be a down buzz. I love being the optimistic, exciting, like, yeah, you can do it. But a lot of people who do start a business too haven't thought about like you said, like not everyone who goes into business knows that it's all of these things, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, I want to do this one thing. Do a whole lot of research, make sure that your idea is going to work with the market you're doing it for, and then go for it. Go for it.
It's the spend a little now to save a lot later, isn't it? Like go and speak to some people, speak to some consultants, maybe speak
Yeah.
to someone who's been in that industry or who's done it before. Or like, people are willing to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they're not, then they're probably an asshole anyway. Like, can we say that on here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I get
like,
called an asshole all the time.
yeah, collaboration over competition. Because I'm big on like water your own grass, right? Because if you're so busy focusing on someone else's, you're gonna have what the hell's yours doing?
Yeah.
Like, and so
Someone already put weed killer on it while you were looking.
yeah, focus on your own. Don't feel free to share. Like, don't feel scared. Some people are in like a certain industry will be like, oh, I can't tell you that. It's like our secrets. Whereas I'm like, it's really not that secret. Like here,
Yeah.
you just got to do you.
The thing that anyone who's actually quite good in business will know that they're always 5 years ahead of their competitor anyway. Like for you to like someone wanted to come in and take on your business, they're 5 years behind you. It might not be 8 years because they can see what you've done, they can catch up, But they're a good 5 years behind you to get to where you are, the systems, the procedures, the stuff they don't see within your business.
Yeah.
So for that reason, even if someone wanted to start out in Palmerston North doing some bookkeeping type business, you'd probably be happy to tell them part of your story, right?
Yeah, I've had team members leave work and go out and be a VA. And I'm like, this is what you want to do. Here's some tips and stuff. And they already know from working with us and stuff. I'm not, there's enough work for us all.
100%.
It figures itself out, right? Like if you don't do business really well, it'll figure itself out.
It's a strong one to finish on. So
Cool.
Thanks for dropping in.
Thanks for having me, guys.
That's good. We've learnt a lot about at Miss Good.
Yeah.
Or at It's Miss Good. It's Thief.
It's Miss Good, yeah. I was like, man, what am I gonna call my Insta page? I was like, oh, Jason's got It's Jason Fox, and then Tim's got, what's he got? I am Tim Pearson, and then I had to look at a whole lot of other people. I didn't know what I was like, Chantel Good's too long, and I was like, oh, It's Miss Good. I'm gonna be It's Miss Good.
So
Let's
good.
do it.
Right.
My last name's great for it.
It's Miss Good. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Level up.
Okay, that's a wrap. Thanks for coming.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.